Hey Scrapper Names fans, and welcome back to a very long overdue video. Kitty I have this 12x12 layout that I am scrapping using some pieces from, it is a Kitaholics kit. I think it's from a couple of months ago. Anyway, I'm very behind. But this photo was taken last year during one of our lockdowns. I think we actually were in lockdown because one of the kids had been exposed at school. I think potentially it was my son. Can't remember, but yeah. So anyway, so what I am doing, I've printed my photos on my Canon Selfie, and now I'm just going to go through some papers from the kit, as well as some that are from a previous kit, just to get a feel for what sort of background I want. Now, I knew going into this, I was feeling a bit mixed media. I hadn't done, as I said, I haven't done a lot of scrapping, and obviously certainly not had time for a lot of filming. But today I decided in this occasion I want to switch the camera on and see how I go. So forgive a bit of the rustiness. I'm still getting my swing of things back. But yes, so I've picked this lovely floral paper. I feel it might be a Maggie Holmes one, but I could be wrong. I know we got some of the new Maggie Holmes in one of the kits, and I feel that the florally flowers are her, but I could be wrong. There were some Jen Hadfield as well. So, yes, not 100% sure. So, trimmed my photos, going to do them separately, not kept them as a bit of a collage-y piece. I'm now just fiddling around with, I think, what I want to back or map my photos on. As I said, very rusty, very indecisive when rusty, and especially more even indecisive when I have a kit sitting there that has, or two kits sitting there that have not been touched. Trying to make more of a conscious effort to make some time for just scrapping. So even if I can steal half an hour just to get something started, then that's what I'm going to go with for the time being and hope for the best. So yeah, so now as you can see, just matting onto this pink scrap bit of paper that was sitting there. I'd obviously used it either for a cut file or something, and am just going by the wavy pattern in it. Yeah. I usually keep my scraps, especially if they're from a kit, I keep them with the kit, and then when I pull my kit apart to replace it with the new one, I put the scraps in my scrap bucket, which really needs sorting so badly, so badly. I don't reach for it enough, and I actually have brought a set of drawers to try and colour code them so they sit on my desk, and maybe I will be enticed to use them a bit more. I just need to organise it. It's a task I keep putting off. I keep looking at it and going, oh, crap. But anyway, and another oops moment there, as you can see. My photo got stuck to the paper, and the adhesive on the tape is really, really good. So it ripped it. But that's okay, because you can fix that. It's easy peasy. Easy peasy. So doing a couple of layers, I think, from memory. And as I said, I do bring in some mixed media because I do remember thinking I really just have not touched paints or anything. Wasn't really up to doing an art journal page. I think I had tried one at one stage, either following this or before this, and it was really rusty and I was not very happy with it. So, yes, it's all practice makes perfect, really. So yeah, just trimming them down. So how's everybody been? As I said, I have had a bit of a hiatus for quite a few months now with videos. I would like to say I'm going to try and get back onto it. I've got this one, and then I'm going to edit another one after this, and hopefully voice over it tonight as well, and get it up onto my channel, and space them out a little bit, and then hopefully film here and there. So I don't think I'll have a set schedule, but things are sort of settled down a little bit. We've got married, and all of that's now done and dusted. So next we'll be moving house in a few months. So all fun, packing up a scrap room and resetting that. So that could be cool. In a few months I might have a tour for you of a new scrap room. But we'll get there. All right. So Because the photos themselves have a lot of colours between the clothes that we're wearing, the beautiful blue background of the sky. It was, thank God for nice days, I think, during lockdowns, because being able to get out, and for us in this particular instance, I remember not being able to go out. So we did a lot of playing in the backyard, lots of, handball, basketball, soccer, those sorts of things together. So I guess, it's got its positives. But yeah, so I decided I wanted to use blue to really make my photos pop more and to make the page just really, really bright. Now I'm using a new stencil. I hadn't used this stencil before. And I went to use my blue Flutter by Design paint, but it had all dried a bit. So I hoiked that, and I think I'm using a Dina Wakley. I love her paint. And this stencil, I've been struggling lately with putting paint through a stencil. It just, I don't know. As I said, I'm really rusty. So trying to get in and practice a little bit more, or do a bit more, and just play around, and, anything can be fixed. As you can see, it looks a bit rough, but, it's a start. It's for my album, really. But yeah. So just playing around, adding a bit more blue, because I had plenty of blue there. I think I ended up turning the camera off for a moment and using it in my Use It Up journal as well. Gave it a bit of a dry, added some blue to the edges there, which you can see I have super sped this up because we're starting to get into the embellishing part. But yeah, I actually ended up using some blue around the edges just to really make the paper pop. I really loved it. First I was sort of like, oh God, what am I doing? But then I really like the way it turned out. So yeah. Now to add a bit of softness to this and a bit of texture, I've decided to back this onto some tissue paper, just for something different. I hadn't used it for a while. So yeah, just something a little bit different again. And it just sort of broke up the photos between that and the paint on the paper. So yeah, I was again pretty happy with how it went, with how it's gone. All right, just trimming that down, getting it sorted. Actually managed to cut this fairly evenly. Usually when I cut tissue paper, it looks like I've just shredded it, but it went really well. So it was really good. Now I will use wet glue just as a precursor, just to put on, even though the paint layer is really thin. That's the one thing I really like about the Dina Wakley paints. They spread really easily. You don't need a lot, so you're not using heaps, thank God, because they're not cheap. And they're quite thin, so they dry really quickly. But I want to make sure things stick and stay stuck for the rest of their lifetimes. So I do use, I think, a bit of wet glue. Bringing in some craft foam here just to add a bit of dimension to the page by popping my photos on them. Plus, it just gives makes the photos the interest point, I guess you could say, for the layout, with the paint on the background as well as the busyness of the leaves and floral patterns and things like that. It became really busy, and I felt like the photos were going to kind of get lost in it, so I decided to bump them up a bit, as you can see. Now that craft foam I buy in huge packs from Spotlight here in Australia, and this has lasted me like for ages. I haven't really been able to, but I did at one stage be able to get my hands on some adhesive on. I think you can get it from Spotlight, but it's only a couple of like 10 sheets or something, and it works out to be a bit more expensive than this one, which is like 60 sheets or something per pack. And so I get this one instead, because at one stage I was going through it a lot. Hopefully I will go back to going through it a lot when I can scrap more. So yeah, as you can see, using wet glue, using the Nuvo wet glue, I quite like it. It sticks really well. I like the bottle, as funny as that sounds. So I had another wet glue I was using. I can't remember what it was, but it just kept clogging and I'd have to cut it down, and it was just driving me nuts. Anyway, so I couldn't wait to get rid of it and give this a crack, which I have, as you can see. And yeah, it works really well. It adheres really well. It adheres pretty quickly without it being too quick, obviously. Yeah, and it stays well in the bottle, so I'm not fighting with it every time I go to use it, which is great. All right, as I said, now I'm up to embellishing. Now I had this little plate of embellishments from another older kit, and I just was struggling to use them, and I've had them deliberately on that plate because there was only some left in the pack, but I could not get them onto a page. So I have used these cool little phones, and I think one says something about game night and something says dinner, I'm there, or something like that. So just thought it's a bit family orientated. So I just popped them on this page, which is all about family, being out having some fun. I think the actual embellishments themselves, excuse me, are family orientated anyway. So again, I feel that they're a Jen Hadfield. Yeah, I kind of like her collections actually. I've only really come across them in my kits that I subscribe to, but yeah. I don't really purchase a lot of other scrappy supplies of late, like new supplies, simply because I get a little bit overwhelmed when I've got like, you know, 2 or 3 kits sitting there and I haven't used them all, and I want to use them because I feel like it's a waste of good quality stuff. Yeah, so I stopped buying, you know, unless something really jumps out at me, but stop buying supplies that way, papers and things, until I can sort of get back on track and really using them up and not feel so overwhelmed. So just sticking, these are printables from Kitaholic kits that we get each month, just popping them down. I've sort of really started to get into trying to do, goodness me, floral clusters. Like I never feel that mine look as great as some of the ones that I see other scrappers do, but you know, they work, and I usually try and use these ones up alongside or with there's floral embellishments in the kit as well. Yeah, that's just me. Does anyone else have embellishment go-tos? I have to say, as I said, these florals at the moment are, yeah, the go-tos. I always seem to feel like I put them on a page, whether it's all clustered or scattered around or things like that. And I'm also actually today when I did another layout, I've been using sequins, which I haven't used for ages. There's some sort of sprinkly bits. But yeah, and the little like phrase word pieces as well. So you can see using wet glue for everything, even on spots where there's really doesn't appear to be a lot of paint. I am still using wet glue just because there is the paint, and I think realistically I had the glue out, so I just was like going, you know, hell for leather with the glue, so why not? So just, yeah, fiddling around. One thing I hate about gluing is you need to really stick things, like hold your photos down so they don't look like they're bubbling, but that's okay. Sometimes I'll chuck like my stapler or something onto it. Going through some stickers now from one of the, again, I can't remember the name. It is Jen Hadfield, I know that. One of her recent collections. So just trying to use those stickers up a bit. There's some really lovely, just really, I don't know, peacefully nice kind of stickers with phrases and things like that on it. So that sticker tag, I had to put a little like tassely bit through it and it was a bit of a challenge, hence I cut that out because I had to fight with it a little bit because there's obviously adhesive on the back, so every time I go to stick it through it would stick and I'd have to pull it, and anyway, you know, scrappy first world problems really. So just, yeah, adding some more little bits and pieces just to create some little clusters here, there and everywhere. I do try and make clusters 3 or more objects, like pieces. Sometimes it doesn't always happen because otherwise to me then it just looks cluttered. So that's just my brain. But yeah, I do my best. Now, I didn't end up putting a really big title, and as you would have seen from the start of the video, it was called Sunshine and Smiles. So that clear sticker I just put down actually has Sunshine and Smiles written on it. So that's where that came from. That sticker book I'm using, pulling some of those from, is the Market Square one from Crepe Paper, or Maggie Holmes, sorry. Clear stickers is something that I can be a bit hit and miss with. because they are clear. And I think, I don't know if you can see them, they look a bit, I don't know, light. So sometimes, like I've put those black and white flower ones, black and clear, along where the paint is there in the middle between the two photos, which I really liked. So that's just what's worked. Now I think I'm at the end. I'm just adding some little sprinkly stuff. So I think, again, this is a Market Square, like enamel shapes. That's probably the best one. So I think I'm putting some circles, some star burst things, and yeah. But you'll see it all in the close-ups. Here you go. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave me any feedback. Be nice, if possible. And I will see you very soon with hopefully another video. So as I said, here's some close-ups. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.